And a very good afternoon here today at Keeneland. It is Thursday, April 8th, still morning. It is 11:30 Eastern time as we are about an hour and a half away from first post here on this Thursday. Scott Hazelton, Gabby Gaudette with you. And the rain has not quite arrived just yet. It's a little soggy. That's about all we can say right now here in Lexington, Gabby, and hopefully it stays away for the majority of the afternoon.
It arrived a little bit. I got a little wet walking into the set here this morning, but just a few moments ago. But right now it's just a really light drizzle. So hopefully the weather stays pretty well intact throughout this afternoon as we have some nice turf racing action today.
We do 9 race card today. Yesterday we had an 8 race card. I think the highlight, just quickly touching on that, had to be Pocket Square, the latest European import for Juddmonte, who looked sensational with that stretch run yesterday on the turf course in the featured event.
That horse was very impressive. We had some other horses on the kind of undercard races, pretty impressive as well. And Luis Saez, I believe he finished the day with 3 wins. He had 3 consecutive wins kind of in the middle part of the card. So he's continuing to ride that momentum. And Irad Ortiz, it was his first day here at Keeneland for the spring meeting. He got a win as well as Johnny V.
It was a good day of racing, and it was warm, much cooler today with the weather in the area. We'll touch on weather in just a second. One thing that we do want to make sure that you're fully aware of is the Toyota Super High Five jackpot. It's at $41,792. Again, the Toyota Super High Five jackpot. And your first opportunity to take a swing at that comes in race number 2, Gabby. That is the 2-year-old race that, again, John Hancock is supposed to win with another flat trunk. Just getting that out there.
Well, you had the steam yesterday. You went 2 for 3. You didn't quite go 3 for 3. Do you have any steam today?
Not yet. It's early. My people aren't here yet. But the other one, in my defense, and in the defense of my source, the Grand Motion runner in race number 5 ran pretty well.
Yeah,
I mean, was beaten maybe this far for all of it, with the horse in between coming away with the victory. So, yeah, things were clicking. Hopefully we can keep the momentum going here today on this Thursday card. So don't forget about that Toyota Super High Five jackpot, over $41,000. Your first opportunity is race number 2. Now let's check in on the weather with our friends at WKYT.
Here we go into your Thursday forecast for Keeneland, and it looks like we could have some rain right now. I'm not going to say we're going to get inundated with heavy rounds of rain, but the chance is lurking in the area for the rest of the day, and it has potential to even be a little gusty at times. There's a chance that we could run into severe weather, which could really throw things out of whack just a little bit, maybe some pockets of some heavier rain. So you got the wind to face, you have the possibility of some wetter conditions as well. So make your bets with your best judgment on a day like today. Good luck out there.
So encouraging forecast from WKYT. No big weather storm coming in, but maybe some sprinkles throughout the afternoon, and let's hope that we get lucky. And we've tended to be lucky, to be honest with you, Gabby, here in recent meets. I hopefully don't jinx us. This is
Please
a wood desk. But we've had, how many times have we had these storms forecast and then they stay north or south of us and we're good to go on these race days?
There's been spring meets in the past where there's been snow on the ground too, so I'm happy with a slight drizzle rather than snow, Scott.
Let's take a look at our full card picks presented by TVG. And this is always an opportunity to see how much we disagree. And, I mean, this is kind of the same.
We agree in the 3rd, we agree in the 4th, and we agree in the 7th, and the last race. There were a couple scratches. I defaulted into the 4. I think you liked the 4 in the last race. But kind of a mixed bag. We agree on some races and disagree on some races.
And, again, the best way to keep track of full card picks from Gabby, myself, and a host of other top handicappers is to download the Keeneland Race Day app. If you don't have it on your smartphone or your tablet, make sure you access it right now. Not only do you have all of these picks for myself and Gabby and the other handicappers, but we put together write-ups for each of these races days in advance. So if you're looking forward to tomorrow or even Friday, I'm sure Gabby's already got her work done for Saturday. Right, Gabby? You've already posted all the write-ups?
I did the second half of the card for Saturday. I have not finished it just yet.
We work ahead here at Keeneland. As far as social media is concerned, here are our handles on the various outlets. At Keeneland Racing on Twitter, on Facebook, it's at Keeneland, same on Instagram. And for those of you not watching us on TVG2 and you want to watch TVG2 and TVG, as well as the other various aspects of the Watch TVG app. Download it right now if you don't have it. It's on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, or Apple TV. I promise you it'll be the best way that you can access TVG. You can catch all the racing from Keeneland, of course, each and every day as TVG is live on site. But the Watch TVG app, download it on Apple TV, Roku, or Amazon Fire TV right now, and then give us a follow on those social media outlets. Our featured event today, it's race number 8. It is the Clarkland Farm. It's a 2 other than allowance race at 1 1/16 on the turf course. And we'll take a look at this group. There is an entry, the 1 and 1A Opry and Invader, and the morning line favorite is the entry installed at 2-1.
2 scratches, 1 big scratch of the 12 vintage print in here. I thought a horse that would figure to take a lot of money and a horse that figured to be one of the horses to beat in here. There's also a scratch of the 6 Bugleberry, but overall it looks like the entry looks tough. And then Ocean Atlantique is kind of the unknown horse in here, Scott.
And that's where I go. I think that you've got to look to this horse as a threat coming in for Brendan Walsh because he's done so good with the U.S. Invaders. We're not going to have a playback for you, but trust me when I talk about this horse and who he's faced. I mean, he ran in the French Derby. That was the race, if you've got your past performances, on July 5th. Again, we don't have that playback for this because this horse is not raced in the United States, but he ran 10th, only beaten 6 lengths to the top-rated horse in the world. It was just released about an hour ago by Mishrif. Mishrif won the Saudi Cup and then would come back and won the Dubai Shima Classic with absolute ease. He's co-high rated with Mystic Guide, the Dubai World Cup winner. So this horse comes in for Brendan Walsh, who strikes at 19% with horses making their first start in the U.S. coming in here, gets Lasix for the first time. The Connections paid over $1 million for this horse back in 2019. He's a son of American Pharaoh out of a Giants Causeway first dam named Tare Green. There's a lot of upside here when you look at this horse and where he's coming from. And I think getting quicker ground, I mean, when you get soft and heavy ground in France, that is legit soft ground in France when you see that designation. So whatever he encounters today is going to be much quicker ground than what he has seen in his last 3. And you've got to respect the company that he's kept over there. So I like him on top. The 11-horse Baker Bay, he comes out of some live races. Since they've gotten him back onto the grass course, he's a much different horse than what we saw from him at the beginning of his career when he started off on the grass. And he comes out of a race which produced Falkirk finishing second. We saw him run well. And then the 9-horse Silenced for CRK Stable and Cherie DeVoe is a speed threat in here. If this horse can get loose out on the front end, he can make some noise. And leaning on the Cherie DeVoe barn here early in the meet, given what they were able to do at Fairgrounds late. I've mentioned that before. I think you've got to respect Silence. But I'm going Ocean Atlantique as my top selection in here, coming in for Brendan Walsh for the first time in the United States.
I think you have to use Ocean Atlantique if you're playing that late pick 5, pick 4 sequence, Scott, because when you look at his form, he's kind of a Group 2, Grade 2 caliber horse. Maybe not quite Grade 1. He obviously he was beaten 6 lengths in his Grade 1 event. Maybe even Grade 3 here in the States. But when you look at that class and you compare it to the rest of the field here today, he probably has a little bit of a class advantage if he can translate that form from Europe to North America here today for Brendan Walsh. So he looks very tough. I will try to beat him, though, with the 2 Street Ready as the top pick. We'll go back to his race 2 starts back in the Grade 3 Transylvania, where he almost won at 13-1. So this was a big performance by him, and he went against the likes of Field Pass, a quality graded stakes horse in his own right. And he has, I think the best kind of trip for him is to be stalking from off of the pace. This day in which he finished second by a nose, you can see a really hard-fought try down on the inside. He was really unfortunate to lose by a nose, but that day he was on a good listed turf course. He's been effective on softer turf courses too, on yielding going, so I don't think the turf condition should dissuade you from liking this horse. And his last race, a lot of people will say, well, what happened in his last race? He was kind of disappointed in there. Saif was the winner of the race, Scott. He went gate to wire. It was a merry-go-round race. There were no horses that improved position. And he actually came back to win on the Florida Derby undercard with 100 buyer speed figures. So that wasn't just your typical allowance race. That was a really tough race. So I like Street Ready with the rail post. He should be able to stalk the speed using Ocean Atlantique, and then also the entry. Do take note that the 1A does draw into this race, and the 1 Opry and the 1A Invader, I think, are both usable. One has speed. One can probably be a little bit more tactical, sit mid-pack. So I would suggest using both of those horses or the entry in the late pick 4 as well.
Let's go to Tom Leach.
With trainer Brendan Walsh, who will have Ocean Atlantique making the first U.S. start in the allowance feature on Thursday. What have you learned about this horse since getting him?
Well, we got him, Tom, end of last year. So we've had, sufficient time with him to get to know him. Nice horse. Came with a good reputation, as being a nice horse. So we were very happy to get him, and he's been working well. He's not an extravagant worker, laid back type horse, but works really nice, and we're looking forward to tomorrow to see what he shows us.
You did get him on the Keeneland turf course once. Handled that okay?
He did, yeah. We got him at Keeneland, and we worked him a lot on the turf at Palm Meadows as well. So yeah, it was nice to get him out there the other day, because we were in two minds whether we were going to maybe run him into Maker's Mark as well. But we said we'd try this for his first race off the bat.
Turn of foot's so important in turf racing. How does he stack up in that regard?
I think he's got a nice turn of foot, Tom. He's had some very nice form in France. I think the ground's going to suit him tomorrow too. He ran a couple of times at the end of the year there last year on softish ground, and I don't think it was to his liking, so this should be right up his street.
Good luck.
Thanks very much, Tom.
So positive info on Ocean Atlantique from Brendan Walsh, getting set for his U.S. debut in Race 8, the Clarkland Farm. We move on to our analysis of key races over the course of this afternoon. And Gabby, you'll start us off with race number 6, another turf event. This is straight 3-year-old maidens going a mile and an eighth.
Southern District is your lukewarm favorite at 3-1. Your second choice, maybe third choice, would be the 5 Avenue, and they both come out of the same race on the 28th of February. So we can actually go straight into that race, roll back that race at Gulfstream Park, race 6 that day on the 28th of February. And you can pay attention to 2 horses in here, the number 6 and the number 5. They both are in this race, and they come out of the race. Obviously, Southern District is in the Clarovich Silks, and Avenue is in the Lapenta Silks, making that closing run. I just don't understand why this horse was so far off the pace. When you look at his first race, he was more forwardly placed. I know it was a slower pace, but he just kind of got away awkwardly, and I think the important thing for him is to get out of the gate better, be more forwardly placed. So that is a loaded field. I just think that race in which Cellist won, which both of these horses come out of, was very strong, Scott.
I'm going to go to race number 1 to get things rolling, hopefully here with another winner to kick off the card. In race number 1, we're looking at a $30,000 claimer going 6.5 furlongs for straight 3-year-old fillies. Scratch out the number 2 horse. You've got the entry in here who will take some play, but Destinique is the number 3 horse for Brad Cox, who is the morning line favorite coming off of back-to-back wins at Turfway on the synthetic. I think Stylish Rags is the right one in here, who's 3-1. I mean, this is a wide-open race, but Stylish Rags, at least you've seen good dirt races from her, and she gets Irad Ortiz Jr. in the saddle. We go back to her debut at Saratoga. This was in July of last summer. She set a trip just off the pace and was able to get up in time to win by a neck with Jose Ortiz in the saddle, and this was going 5.5 furlongs, and that race ended up being live. She caught a sloppy or muddy track in her second start. You can see her in the Wesley blinkers there, the black and gold, and she's involved in this battle. I think that the outside draw is a plus for her. I look for her to keep on coming as she did in that race going 5.5. She's going 6.5 today. Stylish Rags for me is the one that I'll go with in the opener, and in there 6, 4, and 1A are the top 3 for race number 1 here on this Thursday card at Keeneland. You take us into, we stay early in the card, Gabby. You go to race number 3 next, and race number 3, a $20,000 conditioned claiming event going a mile on the main track.
The 4, Frank and Jimmy, is the favorite at 5-2, but I thought this was maybe a key race if you're playing the early pick 4 sequence. And my focus is actually on the 7, Last Chance at Glory. Now, Frank and Jimmy, I understand people will bet this horse because it's a big drop in class, but he just hasn't really been in the greatest of form as of late. I would rather a horse that's been in decent form. The 7, Last Chance at Glory. Now, I know his last race wasn't great, but I ultimately think he's a better dirt horse than a turf horse. His last race, his first race of the year, was on the turf. Let's take you back to Churchill Downs last November a race in which he won. This was for the $30,000 level, non-winners to 2 lifetime condition. And then, yes, this race was impressive. He got a great ride by Rafael Bejarano, who's back on him here today. He was posted towards the outside, and he was resilient enough to hang on in this race by a neck and kind of hold off all those late challengers, including the horse that was closing well from off of the pace. The key to him, he came back in his next race, Scott, and faced Starter Allowance Company at the $30,000 level. Those races come up extremely tough, and when you compare the class and that field, the fact that he was beaten just 3/4 of a length, you compared the class that he's going against today, I think he might be the class of the field. So I have a good feeling about this horse in the third race.
Yeah, you and I agree in that third race, a rarity, but encouraging for sure as we try to get past that event. I'm going to go to the next race on the card, race number 4. This is a starter optional claimer for fillies and mares 4 and up, which have started for the claiming price of $5,000 or less in 2020 or this year, or the optional $10,000 tag. And on the outside, the favorite is the 8-horse Radiant Rhythm for Doug Danner, who hasn't raced. This mare has not raced in 3 months. The bottom line is that she's just a war horse. I mean, look at her career record. We'll roll back her race at Mahoning Valley, which she came from off the pace, as she typically does, to win. But her record, 65 starts, 14 victories, 13 seconds, and 15 thirds. She's ran out over $300,000. And here is that race at Mahoning Valley in which she got to get the victory. She's got 2 works back, which I don't really think is an issue off of a 3-month layoff. Perhaps we'll be able to get a little bit more information from Doug Danner once we get to the paddock in this 4th race. But you just got to appreciate her consistency. And Gerardo Corrales, one of my go-to riders here at Keeneland each and every meet. He's ridden this filly before. He won on her at Churchill Downs back in November of 2020. She's the right one in race number 4, and an easy one to root for. So 8-3-1. Trickazar, a mare that's also been very good over the course of her career, but not on the level of the favorite. And then the 1-horse Diva Banker for Ray Handel. Ran a really bad race off the claim, but he protects her, does Ray Handel, who trains her as well, and he gets Joelle Rosario. She's going to have to flash speed from the inside, but he must have righted the ship off of that disappointing effort on the synthetic. And maybe it was just the synthetic, because she's done her best on the dirt course. So 8-3-1 in race number 4 here at Keeneland Racecourse. We move along to the Clocker Report, and we'll go later in the card for the Clocker Reports, starting with race number 7, Plamin, on the 3rd of April. Worked 47-4, wire to wire in only 2-turn dirt route, and gets Lasix trainer 29% with first-time Lasix. So Plamin in race number 7, that's the number 3. And then Baker's Bay, who will take a lot of play in that featured event on the 5th here at Keeneland, worked 47-3, 4th best of 30, looks sharp in recent workout, Hall of Fame connections, led by Shug McGahee. So we're looking forward to race 7, the 3, race 8, the 11 part of the Clocker Report. Late pick 4, late pick 5. I feel like we've come close. I mean, I think we hit it on Saturday. One of us hit it on Saturday, but it paid $14. So the world had the late pick 4, Gabby. But we've been pretty close in these late pick 4s so far early on.
Yesterday, our single lost. So
Yep.
that was the key to the sequence, to get Don't Forget home for Robertino Diodoro, and he just had too much to do at the top of the stretch. Unfortunately, lost that race, and that changed everything in late pick 4, which actually paid pretty decently when it was all said and done. I do have another single today. Hopefully we have better luck with this single. But that, I think, is an important single, because then you can have coverage in races 6 and 8 and even 9. So it depends on the type of budget you're playing with. I wanted to keep this play on the cheaper side, $24. 6th race using the 2, 5, 7, and the 12. I mentioned this was this maiden special weight that Avenue is in. He's going to be the top pick for me. But the 12 Southern District also comes out of that race, in which Cellist won. Thought it was a strong race. Also using the 7 Alexander Valley for trainer Bill Mott. And then the inside runner, the 2 Sailors Return for trainer Eddie Keneally. That race, Fly Like an Eagle one, the maiden race that he comes out of, was one of the tougher, I thought, races during the championship meet out at Gulfstream Park. So pay attention to that horse towards the inside. 7th race is my single, the 2 Kinetic Sky. I'll talk more about him in a minute, as he is my play of the day. The 8th race coverage there with the 1, 2, and the 7. I like Street Ready on top, but mentioned the entry mates. I also use the 7 Fighting CB. I can remember this horse from last year. Kenny McPeak thought he would have run a big race at Keeneland on the 22nd of October, and he was so unlucky to lose that race. He's kind of fallen off form since, but maybe coming back here to Keeneland will wake him up. And then the 9th race, just using the 4, 7, and the 8. I would imagine, Scott, you really like the 4 Perspective. Did you single him today?
We'll get to that. Hold on.
Well, you're next.
Yeah, I am. Let's show the graphic. Because I'm going to be frank with you. I don't remember. I didn't. So there you go.
Oh, okay.
I've used 2 horses in there. We have the same idea in race number 6 to kick things off. I think that those are the ones that everybody will have on their ticket in this late pick 4. As far as race number 7 is concerned, the 1, 2, and the 4, I mean, again, these are horses that are very obvious based on the competition that they have kept. Promise Keeper, the 1, he ran against Candyman Rocket, who ran big races down at Tampa Bay Downs. You've got Kinetic Sky for Brad Cox, who was beaten by Backring Luck, who we just saw run in the Santa Anita Derby. And then you've got the number 4 horse, Warrior in Chief, who was beaten by Known Agenda in that allowance race, who won the Grade 1 Florida Derby. So those ones all make a lot of sense. As far as the 8th race is concerned, just going to use 2 in there. The 8, that is Ocean Atlantique, the filly, or colt rather, excuse me, that's making his U.S. debut for Brendan Walsh, who will take a lot of play. And then Baker's Bay, the Shug McGahee runner with Johnny Velasquez, who was part of the Clocker Report and comes out of some good races. And then in race number 9, yeah, I do like Perspective. I think that he is by far and away the best one in there. But No Angel for Brad Cox, a first-time starter, being reasonable with a horse that they didn't pay a lot of money for, just $22,000 at the Keeneland November sale, debuting for Maiden 40. You got Irad. I think you've got to be leery of him and see what he's about here today and not be beaten by him. It's more of a defensive play than anything. So $24 investment for the late pick 4, which starts with race number 6. It's time now for our best angles of the day. And Gabby, you're going to be firing on an exacta in race number 7.
Yes, and I'm not saying that this is going to pay all too much because I do think Kinetic Sky might come down a little bit from that morning line at 5-2, but I do have a strong opinion on this son of Run Happy. Kinetic Sky will take you back to his race 2 starts back, his maiden score. It took him a couple starts to break his maiden, and ultimately this race came up a little bit on the lighter side. It was only a 5-horse field at the fairgrounds. It was originally carted for the turf. Brad Cox got lucky that it came off the turf, and he won. But sometimes this is all it takes. It just takes a horse to kind of win by 3 lengths, gain some confidence, and more importantly, I liked how he came back to face winners for the first time. His 2 losses, which I know he won in his first race and was disqualified, but he crossed the finish line first. His 2 losses, Scott, he went against Proxy, who we're going to see run in the Lexington this coming weekend, who's a really nice horse for Mike Stidham. And then also his last race, Backring Luck, who went on to run in the Santa Anita Derby. So we're talking about horses who've gone on to run in graded stakes competition, 3-year-olds who are, likely for the Derby. Some of them are. So I do think there's class there. He's got speed. It's Brad Cox. So I'm going to key him overall in the exacta, and I'm also going to single him in the late pick 4.
There you go, $10 ticket. It's an exacta from Gabby. I'm going to take a swing with an exacta as well in the nightcap, the final race, race number 9 of the day, where there are a couple of scratches. I think the 2 would be the biggest of those 2 scratches. Probably would have been second, third choice in there. Nilsby, the 6, is also out, so down to a field of 8. But Perspective, this colt by Perspective, his name, Perspective, for Danny Gargan, is just the best right now of any of these horses. I know there's a lot of horses taking drops down in class, but his most recent race for Maiden 50 at Gulfstream should be good enough to get it done. Let's go back to it. It's on the 24th of February. It's race number 4. Saez was riding him here today, and he ends up beating a length in the end. But to me, this kind of performance will put away this group here this afternoon in this Maiden 40. It's the first time that he got Lasix. He ran well enough on debut. The day that they claimed him, he didn't quite run as well, but then Gargan put him away for a couple of months, brings him back. He runs well. I had 4 over 2.7. The 7 is a scratch, so you can cold deck it, I think, if you want to. 4 over 7, that first-time starter for Brad Cox. If you want to throw another one in there, I think maybe the coach's horse, Dwayne Lucas' horse on the outside, Quality Warrior, the 8. So 4 over 7 or 4 over 7/8 would be the idea in race number 9 today. But I do think that even a win, just a simple win bet would be suggested on perspective for Saez and Gargan here this afternoon in the final race. Tom Leach, his long shot pick of the day, he's going to stay in the final race, and he's going to go to the number 3 horse, Gunnar Paul, for Wayne Catalano. And I toyed with this horse too. The fact that Wayne gets Florent Geroux, and Wayne, we've seen him be very aggressive here, Gabby, at Keeneland in these recent meets and dropping horses when they need to be dropped and finding success. But what do you think about this colt here today off of that debut where he literally was not even involved at any point in the race?
That's the thing. He just did absolutely no running. He didn't get out of the gate. He didn't pick up his feet, but he could be a completely different horse today against a lower class level. And that race at the maiden special weight level at the fairgrounds was pretty productive. There were several next out winners in there. I think Wayne Catalano could have a good couple of days. I love his horse on tomorrow's card. Forget what his name is, but he's got some really nice horses in between today and tomorrow. We could see things start to heat up for the barn here at Keeneland, but overall he's had a pretty good year.
I just miss seeing Wayne and having him compliment you on your attire each and every afternoon. So we need more Wayne Catalano in our lives, and I think we'll be obviously getting it here in the coming days. And in the coming days as well, we've got some big cards lined up. Great card here today. Maker's Mark Mile is tomorrow. We've got Grade 1 Coolmore Jenny Wiley on Saturday, the Stone Street Lexington on Saturday. It's going to be a fantastic weekend of racing, and we look forward to the racing today. Let's keep our fingers crossed that the rain stays away here from Keeneland Racecourse here in Lexington, Kentucky. For Gabby, I'm Scott. Enjoy today at Keeneland, and thank you for joining us here on Today at Keeneland.
When it comes to hybrid technology, nobody has more hybrid models than Toyota. From the Prius, the hybrid that started it all, to America's best-selling car, Camry, and best-selling SUV, RAV4, to the first-ever Corolla hybrid, the new best-in-class Highlander hybrid, and now the first-ever Sienna hybrid minivan, and Venza, the first exclusively all-wheel drive hybrid. They all come with a new 10-year, 150,000-mile battery warranty. Nobody knows hybrids like Toyota. Let's go places.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Keeneland Racecourse. At this time, we ask that you would please rise in tribute to our national anthem. Keeneland is proud to recognize Marvin Fields from parking as the Employee of the Day. Marvin, congratulations.
In the event of an emergency, Keeneland is dedicated to ensuring the safety of our patrons. This video illustrates the proper evacuation protocol from all locations in the Keeneland Grandstand facility. Depending on the nature of the emergency, directions may be altered. Please remain calm and follow the direction of guest services and security personnel. Patrons should never use elevators during an evacuation. Patrons in the corporate boxes, Eclipse Room, and Phoenix Room should exit using the stairway located near Elevator A. Proceed down the stairs to the ground floor and veer right to exit through the lower club entrance. Patrons in the Lafayette Room, Keeneland Room, Lexington Room, and Kentucky Room should exit using the stairway located near Elevator B. Proceed down the stairs to the ground floor and exit through the paddock area using the East Gate. Patrons in the third floor main clubhouse and clubhouse paddock dining rooms should exit using the stairway located near Elevator A. Proceed down the stairs to the ground floor and veer right to exit through the lower club entrance. Patrons in the Bluegrass Room and third floor ITW area should exit using the stairway located near Elevator B. Proceed down the stairs to the ground floor and exit through the paddock area using the East Gate. Patrons in the Finish Line Room and Green Room should exit using the stairway leading to the North Terrace. Proceed down the stairs to the second level and through the doors outside. Proceed down the stairs to the ground level and exit through the North Gate. Patrons in the outside reserved grandstand seats and boxes should proceed down the nearest stairway to the ground level. Proceed under the grandstand towards the paddock area and exit via the nearest point of exit, the South Gate or the East Gate. Patrons in the second floor main clubhouse dining room and life members room should exit using the stairway on the south side of the administrative offices. Proceed down the stairs to the ground floor and exit through the South Gate. Patrons in the second floor clubhouse paddock dining room and clubhouse tavern should exit using the stairway located near Elevator A. Proceed down the stairs to the ground floor and veer right to exit through the lower club entrance. Patrons in the mezzanine bar and second floor ITW area should exit using the stairway located near Elevator B. Proceed down the stairs to the ground floor and exit through the paddock area using the East Gate. Patrons in the sports bar and cantina should exit through the doors leading to the North Terrace. Proceed down the stairs to the ground level and exit through the North Gate. Patrons in the lower club, clubhouse lawn, club lobby, and director's room should proceed toward the clubhouse parking lot using the nearest point of exit. Patrons in the gift shop should proceed toward the South Gate using the nearest point of exit. Patrons in the apron area should proceed under the grandstand towards the paddock area and exit via the nearest point of exit, the South Gate or the East Gate. Patrons in the equestrian room and first floor Brats and Brew should proceed towards the North Terrace and exit through the North Gate. Patrons in the paddock area and North Terrace should proceed toward the nearest point of exit, the South Gate, East Gate, or North Gate. After evacuating the facility, Please remain calm and follow the direction of guest services and security personnel in the safest route to return to your vehicle. Thank you for your attention and cooperation.
And they're off. Social Mandate broke a step slowly down toward the inside, now starts to move up down toward the rail. In the meantime, Jack the Lad and Baytown Frosty go 1-2. Social Mandate now moves up 3 positions from 6th into 3rd, just over 2 lengths off the lead. Vidal, a wide 4th. Vodka and Water is in 5th. Then a gap of 7 more lengths. Back to Eli in 6th. Kachi Rulo, a wide 7th. Kavod is 8th. Norwood, a distant 9th. They turn for home. And Baytown Frosty, the leader. Vidal swings wide in 2nd. It is Baytown Frosty with the lead by 5 lengths coming to the 8th pole. Social Mandate down toward the inside, moves up into 2nd, still 3 lengths off the lead. Vodka and Water goes toward 3rd on the far outside. Final furlong, Social Mandate coming after Baytown Frosty. Vodka and Water is between that pair now in 3rd. Social Mandate from the outside. Vodka and Water 2nd. Social Mandate, Vodka and Water. Social Mandate, Vodka and Water. Social Mandate, after breaking slowly, wins it by a head over Vodka. In the winner's circle for Keeneland's first, the Lantern Hill, 3 Social Mandate, owned by Randall Glosson, trained by John Hancock. Corey Lannery, the jockey. Social Mandate, 2-year Super High 5 jackpot carryover, $25,848 for the next applicable. They're off. There goes Cleveland Simpson from the far outside. Eastern Symphony up close as well in the opening strides, and Hard Sting is right there in between that pair as they make the move down into the first turn. Eastern Symphony against the rail now has the early lead. Leads it by just a half length. Cleveland Simpson draws alongside the leader from that second spot. They're separated by a neck up top, gap of nearly 2. Then back to Hard Sting in 3rd. Another 2 lengths to Cancel Lara 4th. Crown the Prince 5th. And One Night Standards last. 24.37 seconds. The time for the opening quarter. Cleveland Simpson on the outside puts ahead in front. Eastern Symphony right there to the inside and second by a length and a half. And then Hard Sting in 3rd, stalking that front pair, now looking toward the far outside, less than a length off the lead. Cancel Lara close up in 4th, but then a break of nearly 5 lengths back to One Night Standards, who moves up 1 spot from last around the outside of Crown the Prince, 48.57 seconds for the opening half mile. Cleveland Simpson, the leader by a neck, over to the far turn now. Eastern Symphony, second a half length. And there's Hard Sting trying to join that front pair, moving up a closer third, challenging for second to the far outside. Cancelara tries to get engaged with the front trio. Has to go 4 wide around the far turn. As they come toward the quarter pole, now moves up into third. Eastern Symphony has lost ground around the turn. Cancelara moving up to take the lead at the quarter pole by a half length. Now getting clear by a length through the top of the short stretch. It is Cancelara in front by 2, by 3 lengths now. One Night Standards is trying to chase down Hard Sting to challenge for that second position. But the leader's into the final furlong, and that's Cancelara. A 5-length lead. One Night Standards goes to second around the outside of Hard Sting in third. Cancelara chased down the stretch by One Night Standards, but it is the short stretch. Here's the wire. Cancelara, Luis Saez to win it by diminishing 2 lengths. It was One Night Standards closing for second, further back Hard Sting third. In the winner's circle for Keeneland's second race, 2 Cancelara, owned by Bedouin Bloodstock LLC of Neil Clark and Connor Doyle, owned also by Jason Litt, trained by Ben Colebrook, Luis Saez, the jockey. Cancelara, 3-year-old gelded son of Super Saver out of Silver Bullet Folly by Vindication, bred in Kentucky by Bedouin Bloodstock LLC. Keeneland's third race upcoming, double and pick 3 weight. And they're off. The Flying Pharaoh off a step slowly. Here comes a Thing of Beauty out in the center of the course, striding forward to take the early lead. Big B moves up down toward the inside in the second position as they head for the first turn. A Thing of Beauty, the early leader for Luis Saez by a length and a half, stays a lane off the rail. Big B is there in the second position. Turning Point goes third. Laying Low Makendo is fourth. Ellis Forte in fifth. Bolzan is in sixth. And the Flying Pharaoh last of the 7 as they move midway on the first turn. A Thing of Beauty is the leader. A Thing of Beauty leads at a length and a half. Big B second a length and a half. Then Turning Point, followed by Ellis Forte, who's fourth toward the center of the pack, down toward the inside. Is flanked there by Layin' Low Makendo, then Bolzan, and the Flying Pharaoh last. 22.97 seconds was the time for the opening quarter. A Thing of Beauty is setting the tempo, midpoint of the backstretch. A Thing of Beauty on top by 2 lengths. Big B second by 2.5, nearly 3 lengths now. Back to Ellis Forte, who moves up to the inside of Turning Point. That pair side by side, disputing that third position. Another length and a half to Bolzan, who's next down toward the inside. Layin' Low Makendo outside of that one. And the Flying Pharaoh last, 48.31 seconds. Nearly 8 lengths from front to back, midway on the far turn. And A Thing of Beauty, the leader. Here's Big B inching forward, just off the leader's flank in second. Turning Point tries to pick them up, still third, and still 4 lengths off the lead. Has lost some ground around the far turn, in fact, and backs up as they turn for home. And they have to catch A Thing of Beauty. The lead is 3 lengths to Big B in second. The Flying Pharaohs trying to get untracked on the far outside with an awkward move toward the center of the course, still well back of A Thing of Beauty. A Thing of Beauty with Ellis Forte going to second. 2 lengths separate the top 2. The Flying Pharaoh still far back. Here comes Ellis Forte. Ellis Forte is striding after A Thing of Beauty. A Thing of Beauty hangs on by a head to win it from Ellis Forte. Official winner of Keeneland's third, the Hidden Brook. 7, A Thing of Beauty. Owned by Jim Bakke, trained by Todd Pletcher. Back-to-back wins for Luis Saez on the card. A Thing of Beauty, 3-year-old filly by Burn. And they're off. There goes Kaylee's sister from the outside, outrunning for the early lead. But Polished Gem is right there, and Ms. V-Time between that pair. Ununderstandable last, but right there with the other 3 as they make the move up the backstretch. Kaylee's sister from the outside, and Polished Gem against the rail. Half length separating the top 2 to the far turn. Ms. V-Time is third in between horses, and then Ununderstandable caught to the far outside, 3 wide to the far turn, just 2 lengths off the lead. Kaylee's sister is the leader. That opening quarter went 22.99 seconds. Kaylee's sister, the leader against the rail now by a length and a half around the far turn. Ms. V-Time second ahead. Polished Gem fights back to regain second and neck to her inside. Ununderstandable joins them again from the far outside. Still fourth, still 3 lengths from the front. They turn for home. Kaylee's sister with Polished Gem taking to the outside from second, but a length and a half between the top 2. Then a gap of 3 more back to Ununderstandable. Ms. V-Time drops out to the back, and Kaylee's sister moves on through the final furlong, a widening 5-length lead. Back to Polish Gem in second. 16th pole, it is all Kaylee's sister. Luis Saez, 3 in a row. Kaylee's sister just cruises on home to win it from Polish Gem in second. Ununderstandable was third, and Ms. V-Time fourth. In the winner's circle for Keeneland's fourth race, 6, Kaylee's sister. Owned and bred in Kentucky by Dean Maltzman. Keeneland's fifth race upcoming. The turf listed good. The rail at 20 feet today. And they're off. There's third draft down toward the inside. Here's Zuri from the extreme outside. Never Content, perhaps tonight between horses. Never Content moves forward down toward the rail, has the lead briefly, but Zuri starts to move up on the outside now, and Zuri takes the lead a half length. Never Content will go second to the inside. There goes Wolfbane moving up close third, heading into the first turn, stays toward the outside, traffic down toward the rail in the form of Salih, who is in the fourth position, saves ground around the turn, perhaps tonight alongside that one in fifth. And a break of 3 more lengths back to Money for Row, who travels in the sixth position. Third draft, seventh, broke well, but now drops out toward the back next to last, and Scarabea trails 23.09 seconds for the opening quarter. Zuri is against the rail. Here's Never Content alongside. They're stride for stride up the backstretch. Never Content now taking the lead by a neck. Zuri is second against the rail by 3/4 of a length. And then comes Wolfbane on the far outside in third, moving up to challenge for that second position. Salih is down toward the inside and fourth by a neck. Then perhaps tonight, gap of 3. Back to Money for Row, third draft. Scarabea at the back, 48.12 seconds for the opening half mile. Never Content is the leader to the far turn. Leads it by a length and a half, 2 lengths now. Wolfbane goes to second. Zuri is dropping back toward the inside. Here's Perhaps Tonight moving up into third, 5 lengths off the lead as they come to the quarter pole. But Never Content is the leader at the top of the stretch, leading Wolfbane by a 5-length margin. Third draft has to swing out to the center of the course. Perhaps Tonight is there between horses along with Money for Row. And third draft is coming down the far outside with Money for Row. Perhaps Tonight all bearing down and starting to move by Never Content, who backs up to fourth. Money for Row puts ahead in front. Third draft on the outside. Money for Row, third draft is trying. Money for Row, third draft. Look to be Money for Row getting the nose down on the line, either that one or third draft for Keeneland's fifth race, the Diamond A Farms 7, Money for Row, owned by Raroma Stable of Rahendra Maharaj, trained by Brian Lynch. John Velasquez. And they're off. And there goes Savage Nation from the outside for the early lead. Starts to clear the inside traffic and angles down toward the rail. Joyful Heart comes away running in the second position. And then Testy Kitten, who's between horses, in third. Malpais moves up in the center of the track, fourth to third to second, a length off the lead. And then further back, I Skipper is fifth. Land Battle is sixth. And don't forget, last of the 7, 22.64 seconds the time for the opening quarter, 7 lengths from front to back. Savage Nation, the leader. Malpais, a half length off the lead toward the outside, in second by 2 lengths. Joyful Heart is third against the rail, a half length. Land Battle is in fourth. Now, don't forget, has switched lanes toward the center of the track, has picked up a couple of positions, but is still in the 5th spot, center of the track, 5 from the front. They turn for home. Malpais coming forward for the lead. Don't forget, is running on behind that one to the far outside. They're past the 8th pole. Malpais, the leader by 2, by a length and a half. Don't forget, still moving on the outside, but the leader's at the 16th pole. Malpais in front. Don't forget is second. Malpais and Joel Rosario win it by a length on the line. Don't forget was home second, then further back Land Battle got third. Race 5, Malpais, owned by Francisco Villa, trained by Antonio Meraz, Joel Rosario, the jockey. Malpais, a 5-year-old gelded son of hard. And they're off. There's Walking Marrakesh between horses, flabbergasted to the inside. Here comes More Than Unusual from the center of the course. Tizara up close and a Hurry up close as well in the opening strides. It is More Than Unusual from the outside, taking the lead by just a neck. Flabbergasted is there toward the inside, though, and will save the ground around the first turn from that inside starting spot. Flabbergasted is the leader 3/4 of a length. And More Than Unusual goes second a length. Tizara third against the rail in a hurry. Fourth, Walk in Marrakesh 3 wide from fifth. Now taking fourth, just over 2 lengths off the lead. Broadway Lady, center of the course, toward the center of the pack, is in the 6th position. Gamblin' Train is 7th to the inside. Pocket Square is 8th toward the outside. Tuned is in 9th against the rail up the back stretch, nearly 9 lengths from the lead, and is joined there by More Good Times next to last, and Choate Bridge, who trails 22.4 seconds. The time for the opening quarter. Flabbergasted is the leader by a length after an opening half mile in 47.35 seconds. More Than Unusual, third toward second now toward the outside. Tizara moves up third against the rail. And then Walk in Marrakesh, fourth on the outside, 2 lengths from the front, midway on the far turn. In a hurry, fifth between horses. Broadway Lady moves up 1 position from 6th, but wide around the turn, 5 lengths off the lead. Gamblin' Train is next. Then Pocket Square. Pocket Square looks toward the outside. Tuned is against the rail. That pair 8 lengths from the front. They turn for home. More Than Unusual coming after Flabbergasted. Walk in Marrakesh third. Tizara in fourth. Gamblin' Train in fifth. Pocket Square is in 6th. In the final furlong, More Than Unusual with Pocket Square running to the outside. Tuned is going to dive toward the rail, still fourth. Pocket Square from the outside, Tuned up the rail. Pocket Square to the lead. Late run also from Choate Bridge. Pocket Square. Irad Ortiz Jr. to win it. Tuned was home second. And then it was Choate Bridge. Official winner of Keeneland's featured 7th race, the Mockmer Hall 11 Pocket Square. Owned by the Juddmonte Farms Incorporated, Garrett O'Rourke. Keeneland's 8th and final race upcoming. And they're off. There goes Ike for the lead from between horses. High Five Cotton, Red, Blue, and True have speed. Diddley comes away running fourth up on the far outside as they hit the main track and head up the back stretch. It is Ike between horses with the lead ahead. Red, Blue, and True is second right there to the inside. Diddley joins them far outside in third. High Five Cotton against the rail is in fourth. Break of 2 more lengths then to Congrats This, who travels toward the center of the pack in fifth. Starship Mercury sixth. There goes Favola, moving up a couple of spots from 7th toward 5th against the rail. And then Stay Home further back in the 8th position. Distorted Ransom is 9th. Long on Luck is 10th. And 70 Cat is last of the 11. It was 22.78 seconds the time for the opening quarter. Ike is the leader against the rail by a length and a half. Diddley goes second by a half length. Red, Blue, and True is third toward the inside. High Five Cotton is fourth, looking toward the outside, 3 lengths off the lead. Favola in fifth is still 5 from the front. A gap of 2 more. Congrats This, Stay Home, Starship Mercury. They turn for home. Top of the stretch. And here comes Diddley. Here comes High Five Cotton bearing down to the outside of Ike, who's still there down toward the inside. Red, Blue, and True is still in fourth position. High Five Cotton to the lead past the 8th pole. Stay Home looks for an opening between horses, shifting lanes toward the inside. Stay Home coming after High Five Cotton. Stay Home at the 16th pole strikes the lead. Late run from 70 Cat. Stay Home in front. It is Stay Home to win it for Miguel Mena. Close for the runner-up position, either High Five Cotton or 70 Cat for that runner-up spot. In the winner's circle for Keeneland's 8th race, number 3, Stay Home. The winner, owned and trained by Jeff Hiles. Miguel Mena, the jockey. Stay Home, a 7-year-old gelded.